Hey, this is Jordan Belfort, the real Wolf of Wall Street, and you're listening to The Anthony Rogers Show.
Welcome back to the greatest show in the universe. In studio, we have Tim Gartin. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Candidate for Missouri House, District 78.
Yep.
Cool. I said that really dumb, but
That's okay. No problem.
just being honest.
It's kind of a long name anyway, so it's easy to...
You're reading the bio, so it's like, oh. So, tell us a little about yourself. Tell the listeners, I imagine some of them probably in St. Louis. Who about yourself? Or?
Sure. I've lived here in St. Louis since 1987, on and off. I spent a little stint in Minneapolis, then I went to LA for a little while, but I always seem to come back to St. Louis. I went to school here, went to UMSL, got my degrees there, and I'm a proud UMSL alum. And I'm a very proud citizen of St. Louis. I have two grown daughters. They don't live here anymore. They have their own families, and they're doing wonderfully. And I've gotten to the point where I'm trying to give something back to the community, so I thought I would see if I can help in the State House.
That's awesome, man. That's cool. So, how long have you been in St. Louis?
Since 87.
Oh, okay.
How old are you? I'm 52.
Oh, you look a lot younger. Okay, that's like, you look like...
Well, thank you.
No, it's good.
Thank you.
Funny. Yeah, I didn't realize that. That's crazy though.
Yep.
Yeah, it threw me off when you said you had grown daughters. I was like, I thought you're like someone like I'm like 34. They're around my age or something. It's like,
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Well, I've got a picture in my basement that's getting older, so.
Yeah. So, you lived here since the 80s, you said?
Yep.
That's cool.
I moved here in 87 when I first went to college. I'm originally from Iowa. I grew up in the middle of nowhere, which I loved growing up in Iowa. It was tons of fun, very quiet, very different than downtown St. Louis. I will say that. But when I graduated from high school, had the opportunity to either stay there or come to the big city, and came here.
That's awesome. Yeah, you're the second person on that I've interviewed tonight's from Iowa. I didn't realize you're originally from Iowa. That's funny.
Yeah.
Apparently a big state. I'm talking about. I'm networking with all of them.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Well, I think both of us got the message. So that's the whole works. My license plate there was 1. His was probably 2. If I had to guess.
Fair, yeah. That's crazy. So who are you up against again?
So Rasheen Aldridge
Gross.
is the incumbent.
Okay.
And he's running on the Democratic ticket, and then I'm running on the Republican.
Okay. So how long has he been in office?
He won the special election last year to replace Bruce Franks.
Oh, okay. That's right.
So Rasheen's only been in there for less than a year.
Yeah.
To fill in after that special election, and then we'll see what happens in November.
Cool. That's awesome. That's exciting.
Yeah.
So is your first run for office?
It totally is.
That's awesome.
Yep. I've tried to play a role supporting other Republican candidates in the past. Doing a little bit of campaigning or walking door to door, but I've never really participated. So I'm excited.
Cool. That's exciting. Yeah. It's definitely a fun time. So what's you have any crazy stories so far from like just people reaching out or the attention it brings, I guess?
It's different than I thought it was going to be. Aside from organizations reaching out to me like the NRA or, Victims of Communism, some pretty big organizations that kind of want to know where I am. The individuals that reach out to me so far have usually been people in trouble with the law that want me to get them out of jail or to get them out of court, and which is wonderful. I love hearing from everybody,
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, tell me more about that,
Right.
But let me explain to you what the power of a House of Representatives member is. And then I don't even have that because I'm not elected. So
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, you're like, my spot can't do that, but also I'm not there yet.
You're right.
It's
Exactly.
No, it's funny. I like that, man. It's definitely you definitely have an interesting perspective. Most people probably don't get annoyed as much as we do with things. Like I have companies reach out. I like people. People when they reach out, it's cool. The companies, it is what annoys me. They're like fill this questionnaire, do this, and I'm just like, no.
Yeah.
I never fill that out.
And the thing is like there's a presumption that you're going to agree with their questionnaire.
Yeah.
Because it's like 40 questions all basically in the same direction.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I said no on the first one. I'm pretty much gonna say no on all of them.
Yeah, it's probably testing for consistency.
Yeah,
or something. And I don't even agree with some of the forms. I just won't fill them out. I'm anti-form.
Okay.
I was like,
you know what?
It depends on what angle you're going for. You probably need to like some people probably. It depends on what your district wants, like what your area wants. If they're actually interested in your feedback on those issues and the publication doing it, it'd be foolish not to. For sure.
You know.
But it's just depends. It's just weird. It's like all you have to do is get more votes. Like they make it so complicated.
Right.
They're like,
exactly.
what about all these things? Like, what are you doing? I'm like, I just have to get more votes.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Doesn't make any sense. Like,
yeah, it's a numbers game.
Yeah. So what? Do you have any political people or politicians that inspired you to become a politician or anything like that? Like, I guess like I'd ask you if you were in a band. And like, what band would you?
Oh
like?
yeah.
The same kind of thing. Like,
well, I've been a Republican like my entire life. I can remember all the way back to President Nixon. I'm that old, and I was pretty little back in those days, and I wasn't a huge Nixon fan when I was 5, but I still kind of remember him. But it was Reagan that really formed my political interest.
Yeah.
Like the 80s and the years that President Reagan was in office, he was such a charismatic person. In addition to being a great leader, I thought. I really enjoyed that. And then in local politics, I've always found... for a while, I lived in Jefferson County, and the congressman for that particular area is Jason Smith, and he was always really good to answer my questions or, be real helpful and
I know his parents.
Okay.
I met his parents. I haven't met him, but I know his family.
He's super cool, and his office is super cool.
Yeah.
And do we see eye to eye on every single thing? No, but I like his model of listen to the people that are in his district and try and help them.
Yeah, that's the only job we have.
Yeah,
really.
right.
Like it's like your only
Yeah.
It's all we're supposed to do. Everyone's just like fundraising all the time or something. Like we've done nothing wrong with fundraising, but that's all you're doing. It's probably
right.
It's called panhandling.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
yeah.
I always love that, like seeing politicians like on Instagram, so like, do you have $1 just for me? It's like you need my dollar. Like,
yeah.
What the? Are you so bad at managing money? You need money from me even?
Yeah.
It's insane. It's a weird time. So you're also a committeeman now too, right? In your ward as well.
Yeah. Yep. So St. Louis has a very strange political structure to it, and I didn't even understand it before I got into the race this year, because there's no instruction manual for new residents of the city that describe these are all the different things that you get elected for. And the Republican Central Committee needs to have representation from each ward. And because there's only about 6 of us total in the city that are Republicans, that meant in my ward, that was me.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely a weird time for. I think people are starting to get wise to the Democrats running large towns and stuff like that. To where I think people are starting to hear, because I think how do I describe this? I think as a kid, in my situation, I feel like I was almost like a default Democrat, and then you think they're the good guys.
Mm-hmm.
They sound well. They're like other teams racist and bad and these words, and then you believe it. You believe the hype, and then as you start to look into the things, the issues and points and what they're saying, you're just like, wow, okay. And the more you get educated politically, it just seems like Democrats are just I don't know a nice way to say it, just straight demons. Literally, they just reach from large towns, give nothing back, put everybody in social programs, and race bait and do all these crazy things. It's just I don't know, it's insane to me.
Yeah, it's very strange. It's very strange. But I do think that even in these historically Democratic towns, there's a little bit of a surge here of people that, even if they're not staunch Republicans, they don't like what's been happening.
Exactly.
You know?
And that's the biggest thing. Like that's how it always flips. Like give the other guys a chance type thing. Because it's like, I mean, okay, we've seen what Democrats have done since the 40s in St. Louis. It's like, can we just like try something else?
Yeah.
Like anything, like literally anything else. Like you're like, it's like their platform with like anything but Trump. Like anybody with Trump, like use your own like whatever ration you think you have with that. Use that for this.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you see all the urban cities are just decayed and bullshit. It's like you're gonna do something or just keep voting blue every time. Like it makes no sense. It's like an insane time.
Yeah.
And your district is easily winnable for you. I think it's a good district to win. I think like for yourself, and it'd be good to get some of these like left side. We don't have to get all Democrats out, but at least like, split it up a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a two-party system. I thought.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be good to have.
Yeah, it'd be cool to have a second
choices.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. That's just my bias, I think. But I like choices in the political system.
Same. I'd say most St. Louis would agree with that. And I think they also think that there should be three parties. I hear a lot of people say that we need a strong third party, but it'd be nice to have a strong second party represented here as well.
Right.
Like it's just a one-party dominant system. It's like a monopoly. I can't. If this was a company, they'd be violating the Sherman Antitrust Act.
Oh yeah.
They'd be breaking the monopoly rules.
Yeah.
But I mean, since it's like I guess like I don't know, they're Democrats. They don't have to be punished for anything. I don't know.
Well, if it was a company, they'd be out of business.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, they have no money coming in. Yeah, it makes no sense. Like they ruined this town completely, and we're trying to fix that. And like it's annoying, but I feel like a guy like you needs to be in there though. That'd be cool.
Well, you too.
No, it's about you. It's your interview.
There we go.
It's about you.
There you go.
We're not. Yeah. No, I think it'd be good. It'd be good to get you in office, man. I think it'd be a lot of cool things. Like, what are some of the focuses of like people in your district so far? Like, what do people think like needs to be done? Like, besides the obvious. What is it?
Well, from the folks that I've spoken to, and I don't really go around saying, "Hey, I'm a Republican," and you know, "Are you a Republican?" You know, I've tried to talk to my neighbors, you know, and really understand. And it's overwhelmingly two things. People are upset with the education that we're able to provide to their kids, and people are upset with the safety that's being provided to our families in District 78. You know, like literally every night in my home, and I live on the extreme edge of 78, but literally every night there's gunfire, you know, and I'm not paranoid about that. I don't think they're shooting into my house necessarily, but it does bother me that they're shooting somewhere here, you know?
Yeah.
And do I have the absolute solution for either of those? No. But there are a lot of good ideas that different people, different organizations have talked about that we just haven't ever done anything with. You know?
They're not even trying at this point.
Yeah. You know, so I really want to take a look at some of the ideas that we just haven't we haven't implemented, we haven't considered, we haven't thought about, and try and figure out which of those ideas can we do, which of them can we do quickly, which of them can we do efficiently, and which of those are really going to have an impact.
No, that's good. No, I think that's definitely true. And I think just business out here, like North City has like no, I mean, has no grocery store even. Like, yeah, I mean, it's just like if there were jobs, I mean, people would stop committing. St. Louis is crimes of like necessity and like survival, whereas like it's not like crimes of passion as much. I don't think like out in this town. So I definitely think just you get most people just employed.
Oh yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Jobs over here.
Well, absolutely. I mean, the mood of, I mean, District 78 is kind of a strange shaped district, like most Missouri districts are, where it's primarily the downtown, but it's also north and south waterfront, and so it's a long, thin district that has the downtown to it, and you know, if you look at it, while there are lots of voters and lots of citizens in it, as to the amount of, like you mentioned, grocery stores that the citizens can go to, very few.
Yeah.
Number of department stores, you know, very, very, I'll suggest almost zero.
That's real.
You know?
No, it's real because they don't. Yeah, that's smart. And you get stuff like that.
Like my district is not like the rest of St. Louis. There isn't any place for people to go to live.
Yeah.
You know, like if you work downtown, you go downtown, you work, you go back home to the suburbs.
It's dead by 8. Yeah, like usually.
If you live around downtown, you know, there's just nothing there.
Yeah. No, that's very true. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you have any information people would find online or anything like that? People should.
So I have my Facebook page. It's Timothy Gartin for District 78. And the Facebook is www.facebook.com/somecallmetim78. And then my website is just www.somecallmetim78.org.
Cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then just if you're listening, tell all your friends to vote for him and stuff. Is there anything else you want to tell them before?
You know, every candidate says, well, the most important thing is to get out and vote. Okay, that's fine. Get out and vote, especially if you haven't ever had a voice in the election. Okay, I really think this election is the opportunity that if you feel as though you haven't been represented, you haven't been, you've been disenfranchised, there's never been a candidate for you, there is. Whether it's me or whether it's other candidates that are running against the incumbents or against the party that's been in office forever, they're out there. And the reason that they're not getting elected is because basically we're not going out and voting for them.
That's a good point. That's very well said. I agree. That's good. Also, Tim's on a couple of the episodes we're doing. If you're listening in whatever order we talked to so far, but by the time they listen, we'll talk to a couple of porn stars by then.
Yep.
But so, how was your experience on being part of an interviewing process or whatever on the episode we already did?
I thought the first young woman that we spoke to, very charming, very articulate, an interesting balance of, very non-traditional kind of career choice, but at the same time, very focused and very pleasant to speak with. So it was a lot of fun. That's
awesome. Yeah. So Tim's on a couple episodes. Also, vote for him in November.